Hey guys, welcome to the Bourbon in College podcast. I'm Austin. Let's get started. So today and from now on, my episodes are going to look a little different. I've gotten a lot of good reviews under my belt when it comes to basic whiskeys and bourbons, and I'm going to use those to compare with my next bourbons and whiskeys that I try. But I'm not going to focus on the whiskeys and the whiskey reviews. I'm going to have a topic each week because my goal is to get either other college students, people new to bourbon, or people who are just on a budget, help them also be bourbon enthusiasts. I want everyone to be a bourbon enthusiast and enjoy the craft. You don't have to break the bank to do that. So that's my goal. Even if you're like a young professional, things like that. Even if you have money, you just don't want to spend that much on bourbon, or your wife's getting on you, or your husband's getting on you. I don't know. It's a good way to settle down and think about how much you're spending on any certain collection or vice, depending on your point of view. So that's my goal, is to help people with that. So, for example, today's topic is going to be how to find a bourbon community. Now, being in a community of friends means you don't have to spend as much money to try new things. You may have one nice bottle of bourbon, say like a Pappy 15, if you're lucky, and your buddy may have, I don't know, a Weller 107 antique that you can't find. Then that way y'all can both win. You can try both bottles, or you can go in together and buy one bottle and share it. Things like that. That's just some of the benefits budget-wise of being in a bourbon whiskey community. But there's also countless benefits that go past just saving money. For me, as an example, I started in whiskey by watching the Whiskey Tribe and Whiskey Vault reviews on YouTube, and there's a whole Whiskey Tribe. You can become an MB. I won't say what that stands for on this podcast, but go look it up for yourself. And it's a great community. I joined on Reddit. I also am in the Facebook group, but I'm mainly on Reddit. Everyone there's supportive. Yeah, there's some joking around, but it's all serious. If there's any snobbery in there, you get kicked out, which I think is really cool. So that's the first kind of community I joined. Also, I've adopted their rule of the best whiskey is the whiskey you like to drink the way you like to drink it. So no matter what I say on here, they're just my opinions. They're not law. They're not rules. Enjoy the whiskey you like. You don't have to listen to me. I could be an old fool. Like some of my favorite podcasters and reviews, I like their reviews. I love their reviews. But I know their tastes and my tastes. And if they really like something, that means I'm probably going to hate it. Things like that. So take this all with a grain of salt. But anyway, back to a community. Another community that I've embraced and who's embraced me is the Instagram community. I have way more followers than I ever expected to have. And the people that just love whiskey, they support me. I support them. They love my pictures. They are a place I can ask questions about whiskey because I'm still a noob. I'm still stupid when it comes to bourbon and whiskey. They help me out. I help them out if I can answer a question. Things like that. Like I'd say real friends through Instagram and things like that. The bourbon community and the whiskey community are great. It's easy just to jump in. You don't have to know anything. People will help you out. There's some buttholes and snobs out there, but for the most part, everyone's accepting and helpful and very, very kind. So my tips on joining a community. First off, the easiest way to do it is find your favorite social media, whether that's Instagram, Facebook, I guess Twitter. I don't even know if they have how big that community is. But definitely Facebook and Instagram and even Reddit. Pick one of those, get on it, join a group, whether it be your local bourbon or whiskey society, or the Whiskey Tribe is a great one I suggest on Facebook and definitely Reddit. Even just the bourbon Reddit, or even just jump on Instagram and posting a few pictures of bourbon and tagging it. You'll get some bourbon people real quick. Just ask questions, comment on other people's things, say, wow, that's awesome, if you think it's awesome. I mean, that's really cool. Where did you get that? If you don't mind, how much did you pay? Things like that. Soon people coming back. I got people from the UK who love bourbon, who comment on all my stuff, talk to me all the time. We talk whiskey, and we're in different countries, which I think is really cool. There's an Italian page that I follow, I think is really cool. Now everything's in Italian. I don't speak Italian, but their pictures are great, and it's obvious they have a love for the art. So I say just jump in. And from there, if your local area has a bourbon or a whiskey society, go to meetings, see what that's all about. Go to your favorite bar, talk to the bartender, see if he knows anything. Or, maybe there's a whiskey bar near you, or maybe just a higher end bar or a lower end bar for that matter, that has a good selection. If there's a good selection, it's more than likely that the bartender knows a thing or two about whiskey. Go to your favorite liquor store or store in general. One of the shopkeepers he works in the wine and alcohol department at Calandro's. I talk to every time I go there. He's great. He always points out some of the best budget bourbons he's had, some of the more expensive ones he's had that he likes, different things like that. So it's just go out there. It's like asking how to be part of a bourbon community. It's like asking how to make friends. You have to jump out of your comfort zone sometimes. You can't just sit there you can sit there and enjoy bourbon yourself, but what's the point? It's a community. So the best way, in my opinion, to enjoy bourbon is with others. Like my roommates, none of them are into bourbon or whiskey, but they're supportive. Yeah, we joke around, but they've been great. Even people who aren't necessarily into bourbon, maybe you can get them in, but you don't have to force them. But people who are just interested in fine things, someone you can talk to who would listen. But on the flip side of that, like I said, it's like making friends. You can't be a snob about it. You can't be selfish. You can't be, I'm know-it-all. You're wrong. Flavored whiskey sucks. It does, but you don't have to be mean about it. But basically, just be nice, be kind, ask questions, be respectful. People will be respectful to you. You get what you put into it, I thought it was just posting pictures, getting likes. No, it's interacting with people, comments, Instagram lives, different things like that. Me, obviously, I'm big on the Instagram. Reddit, just, making posts, commenting on posts, asking questions. It's great. You get to know people, talk to people in person. That's great. I'm part of the New Orleans Bourbon Society. I haven't been able to make any meetings yet, but just having those daily emails and having the contacts with people is great. It's just like any other hobby. There's people who are going to know more than you, and you want to learn from them. And community is the best way to do that. All right, y'all. So I've blabbered on enough. It's time for some bourbon review. Today I am reviewing Smooth Ambler's Contradiction, which is a 92 proof, 46% ABV blend of straight bourbon whiskeys. Now, Contradiction, this is off the back, is a blend of straight bourbons. The components are a wheated bourbon distilled and aged in West Virginia, and a merchant bottle bourbon we carefully source. We are very proud of our knack for bringing the great spirits we hand make. So this bottle is really cool. It has the batch number handwritten and has who is bottled by and is signed. It's very cool. I hear good things about it. I'm actually cracking this for the first time, so this is my first impressions of it. But I hear good things, so hopefully it'll be alright. So on the nose, past your classic bourbons, vanilla and caramel, get a little orange, a little citrus. Being a fresh crack, that even the 46%, it's burning my nostrils a little bit. It smells sweet, but also a little spicy. It is blended with a wheater weeded bourbon, so I expect it to be pretty sweet. It's a very complex nose, though. It's nothing. It's not simple. All right, let's see what we get on the taste. Man, that caramel comes on strong. It's almost like if you ever had caramel M&Ms, caramel centered M&Ms. It's like the caramel getting there. It's creamy, but it's not a caramel sauce. It has a little bit of stick to it, but not quite like a hard caramel candy. It got a strong oak on it too for only 46%. Now I don't know the age on this, but it is a blend of straight bourbon whiskeys. And so that's a minimum of 2 years. And I don't know how the must have an age statement if it's under 4 years thing works on a blend. So I would be safe to say it's at least 2 years old. Everything in there is at least 2 years old. So I can't imagine it being that old. I guess it could have some age on it, but it's not complex enough to have that much age. It's just got the oakiness of the age. It got a little bit of orange, a little citrus in there. It's unique. I hate to use that word because it's meaningless, but it's definitely a contradiction. Things are battling in there. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. This is also a fresh crack, so I might need to revisit this, but it's not impressing me. Let's get one more taste on here. There's definitely some contradicting flavors in there that don't necessarily work together, in my opinion. I'm assuming they're going for something similar to like my spicy wheat blend, where it's, half wheater, half high rye. It's definitely interesting. It's not boring. You can chew on it and get 2,000 different things on there. Being a fresh crack, it feels hot to me, even at 46%, which is weird. But I don't know, the finish isn't long. Oak is all I get on that finish. Just some oak. Well, I guess I'm going to have to give this one. Now, again, this being a blend, I don't know the exact mash bill. One is a wheater, which means other than the at least 51% corn, the highest percentage of grain is corn. The other one I don't think is a wheater. Other than that, I don't really have a good mash bill on it. Couldn't really find much. I'm going to have to give it a replace. I'm not a huge fan of it, honestly. And I might have to revisit it, like I said, because it's a fresh crack. But I don't know. I'm not feeling this one too much. Well, thanks for listening. Hope you like the new format. Get some more information, help people out, really get my goal across. And I want to do that on here, on Instagram, on YouTube, my website, everything. I want to make sure whiskey doesn't have to break the bank. You can enjoy the collecting, the enthusiasm, the hunting without breaking the bank. I'm going to have some guests on. I got some really cool guests lined up, y'all. I'm excited. We're gonna have a good time. It's usually going to be probably one episode a week that's shorter like this. It's just a little topic and review, and then a little bit longer episode, either with some interviews or just me finding some interesting stuff and talking about some articles. Tell me what you think. Let me know. Rate and review me. You'll hear all that in a second. Thanks for listening, guys. I'll see y'all next time. Bye. Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Bourbon in College podcast. If you like the show, give it a 5-star review on your favorite podcast directory. If you want to support the show, go to patreon.com/bourbonincollege, where you can pledge as little as $1 a month and get access to our patron exclusive podcast feed where I do special episodes every week. If you pledge $5 a month, you will get a 3D printed custom Bourbon in College coaster and Glencairn top. And if you pledge $20 a month, you get to be interviewed on the podcast. Find me on Instagram at bourbon_n_college. I'm also on Facebook and Twitter. Just search Bourbon and College. Go to bourbonandcollege.com to see where you can find me. All the podcast channels are there. My YouTube channel's on there. All my social media. The Patreon page. So that's your one-stop shop for everything. Thanks for listening, everybody. See you next time.